Hello, welcome again to another video on understanding insurance claims. Today we're looking at the typical homeowner policy and Section C, which is usually your personal property coverage. Section A is your dwelling, B is your detached structures, and C is your personal property, and D would be your additional living expense coverage. But today we're looking at personal property. Now, I've done other videos on personal property, but today we're going to look at basically the fact that most insurance policies, most homeowner insurance policies have coverage for contents or personal property. And say, for instance, you may have $150,000 on your personal property as a whole, but you will find that in every case there are going to be some items that will be limited. In other words, you may have under theft coverage. You may have that guns, for instance, will have a limited amount of coverage for theft. Jewelry, the same way. You may not find that limitation under fire or wind, but under theft you will find that there will be some limitation for jewelry, for guns, and you'll always find some limitation on money, whether it's fire or theft or whatever. The policy is not intended to provide an extraordinary amount of coverage for those particular classes. And also you'll see it under things like watercraft. You'll find that there are special limits, and your policy may not be sufficient to cover the value of that particular watercraft or the value of your guns. So consequently you're left with uninsured, a portion of your claim that's uninsured simply because you do not have sufficient limits. And so what a person needs to do, if they find, okay, I've got a large collection of jewelry, maybe my jewelry by itself is worth $100,000, okay, and you only have $150,000 coverage on your home, for example. Well, if your home is totally destroyed, all of your other contents, exclusive of jewelry, may equal or exceed the value of your $150,000 coverage. So in essence, you're left with a large portion of your claim that's uninsured. So what a lot of people do is they will have, say for instance, jewelry, they will have that specifically insured. They will have all of the major items of jewelry that they will have it appraised, and they will have specific coverage for that class, but they'll be described individually. So you might have $50,000 on a ring, $25,000 on a brooch, or a pair of earrings, or whatever. So this way you've got the coverage that you need in the event of a loss. Consequently, when a loss occurs, you've not suffered a great deal of loss. Basically, you can be put back in the same financial position you were prior to the loss. So if you find that you have a large amount in value in any one area, whether it's jewelry, whether it's watercraft, whether it's guns, or whatever, and you'll find under your policy, under coverage C, you'll find those limitations. So if you see under that particular area that you've got a class of property where you've got a great deal of investment in, and in this case we're using jewelry, then you will need to talk to your insurance agent about how can I get the rest of my jewelry insured. Typically the agent will write it on what we call a floater policy. In other words, you'll get those items appraised, and he'll write you a specific policy that will cover that jewelry wherever you are, whether it's in your home or elsewhere. And that way you've got the added protection that you need. But in every case, and this is just a word of caution, in every case there are going to be certain limitations on certain classes of property. And if you think you've got something that you would not have enough coverage under your policy, and for instance under theft, if you've got your jewelry specifically insured, then there's no limitation if an item is stolen or if all of the items are stolen. But if it's stolen and you don't have it specifically insured, you may have a limitation of $1,000, $1,500, $2,500, which may be far less than the value. So if you've got one area, one class of property that you have a great deal invested in, you need to talk to your agent and be sure that you have the coverage that you need. And again, I ask you, if you like this video, be looking for a lot more, and please hit the subscribe button, and I'll be bringing you other videos along this line. And I thank you for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.